Hey everybody, it's Mickey here. I'm down at Eurocal, Chris's body and collision center. They also do car restorations. So if you all know from my post, I'm actually doing some engine detailing in terms of dressing my engine up and painting some of the engine parts. I thought what would be good, Chris is a good friend of mine, and he's allowed me to come down and work with Tim, who's the painter, and film the whole process. You'll be quite surprised how much goes into painting just a few panels. So let's go in, let's meet Tim, and let's go and watch the whole process. And then once it's all done, my next video will be when we install it. But let's just go through and see what it takes to actually paint these panels. Hi, just walking into Eurocal's workshop space. Going to go over and meet up with Tim, as I just said. We're coming over to the paint booth. I think he's in the paint booth getting the parts ready. Let's have a quick look. So there he is. So Tim's getting the parts ready for paint. It's important that it's done well. What we'll do, we'll go and meet up with Tim right now in the paint booth and ask him, what is he doing? And maybe you guys might want to get this done to your car. Let's see what this all turns out. So let's go and speak to Tim. Hey Tim.
Hey, how are you doing?
How you doing?
Good.
So, thank you, Tim, for coming in on your day off to help us out.
No problem. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
No, awesome. So, Tim, why don't you talk us through what you're doing here? Because what you guys are doing for me is a little bit unique, and but it's not unfamiliar to you guys.
No.
You've done this before, but for me, it's new.
This is the everyday grind for us.
Exactly. So maybe you can explain to the audience what it is you've done to get to this stage.
Okay.
And what are you doing next? Maybe through some of the next steps you're going to go through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, we've done full prep on it. Light 800 sand with red Scotch-Brite. It's raw plastic, so there's a few steps that you take to make sure the adhesion's all good. So they've been prepped out, 800, Scotch-Brited. Right now I'm finishing up the masking on the AMG, which will pull this off after it's painted the blue, and we'll clear over that as well. So that's gonna also have a nice sheen and look really well with the blue. And then over here, we've just gotten a few of the other pieces that we've done some good little precision masking on the inside to keep it as factory and uniform as possible. These all went through the same steps. These ones we're gonna get hung up before we start spraying. Once we get them hung and we start pulling the trigger, we will be applying some adhesion promoter on it to help plastic, to help it stick. That's what makes the adhere, the chemical bond. We'll seal them up, and then we will start pulling the trigger on some blue.
So Chris, can you tell me, with it being engine parts, what are the sort of things that you think about when you come to paint these areas?
Definitely you have to think about the temperatures that the motor is going to be having on it. Because they are raw plastic, we do the adhesion promoter, which really gives it that chemical bond. And then our steps and our materials from that point on hold really well to high temperatures.
Awesome. And do we expect to get, the same sort of finish as what's on the outside of the car, do you think?
Oh, that's always, yes.
Awesome.
That is the plan. We do have a small texture in these, which it could possibly take a little bit of the sheen away, but it's such a small texture, I think we'll still be right there. If not, if it had any type of little bit of a haze that we might not like, all we got to do is run a polisher over it real quick and it brings it all to a shine.
And how long does this whole process take? If somebody sent you some panels to say, hey, here's my paint code, can you do this for me?
Right.
How long would it normally take?
There's a lot of variables, but with a setup like this, I would probably say we'll probably be close into about 10 hours into, just getting it masked, depending on how the polishing, if there's any of that going on. I would say you're probably close to about 10 hours into it.
So if I sent you some panels in the post today and you were going to paint me, when would I expect them back?
Depends on what the schedule is.
Schedule aside.
Schedule aside, if this was the only job on the plate, this is a day turnaround easy.
Okay, awesome.
You know, it
so it's
wouldn't
not,
be
it's
too
not
bad.
big. So
No.
we don't have to wait forever for them.
No,
No,
no.
awesome.
These are pretty simple. You know, as long as we got the 6 to 10 hours putting in on them, you know, they're pretty quick in and out ones.
Awesome. So I guess the next stage after this, once you got it prepped, is you're going to go to the paint room
Yes.
and mix on some product. So we'll go over to the paint room once he's got this done, and I'll go through with you what he's doing in prepping the paint, because that's interesting in itself. Catch you over to the paint room.
This is a type of, this was their first reducer. Well, first they came out with 494, then they came out with some that help the adhesion and things to get it to grab better. And then they just continue to come out with more and more. Like this one here will actually, if I get this color on my hands after this, like you really got to scrub it off.
It's like a hardener.
Yeah, for it
Active.
being, yeah, exactly. For it being a waterborne paint, this will turn it into glue for damn sure.
That's where the paint gets its hardness from.
What was that?
It's where the paint gets its hardness from.
Yeah. This one, you know, this is definitely that T493 that we just put in. That's the glue one. That's the go-to. You have to be careful with waterborne paints because you have to make sure that all the water, basically, because this is a waterborne paint, it is reduced with a water-based deionized water. So between, you'll see like how this stuff glows, you know, this isn't even gonna look like your color until it's on there and it's set. So because some of these parts are a little more textured than a couple of the other pieces, those two pieces there are pretty flat. We're going to put 2 coats of sealer on all the textured stuff to try to get rid of more of that, where we get a glossier sheen.
So we're getting there. We've been at it since it's now been probably 3 hours, and that doesn't count all the prep work that's been done prior to getting the panels into the booth. And we've just done 2 coats of sealer primer, and Tim has just knocked it back with P600s to get some of the peaks out in the textured parts. And hopefully, I think we're about to shoot some color now, base coat. So let's follow Tim in.
We're all loaded.
And let's shoot some color.
Just do a quick blow and tap. gonna do a nice little tack coat to get it, get a nice base on there, laid down, and then the second coat will go on a lot heavier and smooth in and bring it all together.
We're going for the final top coat of clear,
One more coat of clear.
and we're done for the day then.
I think so.
Awesome.
I think we'll be heading that route.
Awesome, let's
As
go
long
for
as
it.
we like it.
Awesome, let's go for it.
So I'm gonna put one coat on it, a little bit of a lighter coat, since this is the focal point. This one's probably gonna get another double
Okay.
wet in one.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm back home. I've parked the old GTC4 Lusso up. I'm going to call it a day now. It's been a long day, but I hope you enjoyed watching the whole process. Thanks to Chris allowing me to go up to Eurocal and meet up with Tim, and thanks to Tim for showing us what he was doing. Maybe the video didn't quite show everything. I didn't want it to be too long, but there was 4 hours of footage. Anyway, in my next video, we'll show you all the panels finished and fitted in the car, and I'll have Chris joining me and Bobby from Santa Rosa Window Tin, and we'll talk through what we did, and also we'll look at if you want to do your GTR panels or the GT panels in the engine bay. Chris will let you know how you can get yours done very, very easily and what that could cost you. Well, thanks for joining me again. Like I said, I hope you found that enjoyable, and I'll speak to you all soon in the next video. Bye.